Come with me to my absolute favorite city in Malaysia, Penang. This was my favorite city by far. I spent 2 days and 2 nights here. One of the things I love the most about Penang is that they have such a big emphasis on food. Everywhere, every single restaurant I went, the food was amazing. So I'm gonna go through everything I did and where to go. So I got to Penang with a private car from Cameron Highlands to Penang. It was about a 2-3 hour drive. And the first stop I made, I dropped off all my luggage and then I went straight to Jawi House. This is a highly recommended restaurant. It was on the Michelin guide and everything there was amazing. Something amazing about Penang is if you are going to an Indian wedding anytime soon, I definitely recommend checking out the shops there. It was so much cheaper than going to Kuala Lumpur. One of the really cool things about my hotel was that they had an infinity pool that overlooked the view of the ocean. There's so much to do there, so 2 days definitely wasn't enough, and food is my favorite thing to do when I'm visiting a city. Even getting from one part of Penang to the other in traffic takes over an hour, so you really want to plan out when you're going out to dinner and lunch. One thing about Penang, and no one really told me this about Southeast Asia in general, is that omakase is so cheap. I went to like a 5 course omakase dinner. It was 5 to 7 courses, and it was less than $50. That was really amazing. Then I walked around the downtown center, and that was my first night in Penang. And then I woke up bright and early the next day for my favorite part of my trip, which was Nazlina's cooking class. She really took her time going through all the ingredients. We walked through the dry and wet markets. She also took us to some of the local vendors. We got to see how a lot of the Indian food is made over there, and we got to see how coconut milk is made. She walked us through some of the local history in Penang, and I highly recommend that taking cooking tours at the beginning of your trip. No one tells you this when you're traveling solo, but it's the best way to meet people, especially if you're not interested going out at night. Especially as a solo traveler, I wanted to do things during the day, so a cooking class checked all those boxes for me. I met people all over the world, from Europe, from Australia. The cool thing about the cooking class is I saw so many different types of fruits and vegetables that aren't available in the United States, so we got to try and sample some of those. I will say be prepared, because when you're going out into these markets in the summer, I went in December, but when you're going out to these markets in December, even during the early morning, I think we left at around 9 a.m. It was still super hot, so make sure to bring a lot of water and stay hydrated. And then after touring all of the markets, we went back to Nazlina's place. It was an outdoor kitchen where she prepared all the ingredients for us. And then when Nazlina took us back to her home, we were able to cook in this outdoor kitchen in the backyard. Her assistant was there, and it took us a couple hours to make the meal. I think it was about 2 hours. We learned how to grate coconut. She explained every single ingredient that she got from the market and that we were using to make the food. And if you're worried about going to this class as a solo traveler, don't worry. She has a team with her, and if you're not in a couple, or if you're not like with someone else, her team will help you kind of catch up to the pace of how fast everyone else is cooking food. So that was really nice. I really got to chat with her assistant, and we were able to create a couple of dishes. By the end of the class, Nazlina already prepped some dishes for us, so that was really great. And then we got to sit down with the rest of the tourists who booked the class and really discuss, our journeys together, why we were in Malaysia in the first place. And then after the class, I headed to some cafes and I walked around Penang. There's so much to do in Penang. And one thing I'll say about Penang is the people are so generous. People in Malaysia are so generous. I actually, after the cooking class, I was invited by someone from Nazlina's team to go and have dinner with him and his family and his friends. And I got to learn so much about Malaysian culture. And we talked so much about traveling, the culture, Malaysian culture over there. And I actually got to try this fish head curry that I had not found anywhere else in Malaysia. Shout out to Mark Weens, because he really was able to help me figure out what places to go all over Malaysia. And from those places, when I told Nazlina's team where I was going out to eat, how far I was traveling for some of these specialties, that's what really showed them that I was really passionate about the food in Malaysia. And that's why I was able to go on this side trip with Nazlina's team and really check out more of the local food scene in Penang. I'm really grateful for that experience. It helped me really learn more about the people and their culture. And that is how I spent 2 days in Penang, and then I flew back to Singapore the next day.